All right, video 2. Let's see if they end up dinging me for one of these. All right, reinventing yourself. That came up in conversation. I've had to reinvent myself a couple times in my life. It's not been my favorite. It's a hard walk. It's not for the weak. It's not for the weak. You have to have a particular mindset. You have to be able to go through the grit to reinvent yourself. You do. It's hard. It really is. I get it. I get it completely. And I'm going to talk about a couple times that I've had to reinvent myself. And I feel that I'm on the brink of reinventing myself again. And it's like a part of me wants to, but a part of me is like, golly, I hear you, God. That said, when I went through my divorce, it was a horrible time. I'm sure anybody can vouch for that. When you go through a divorce, it's not a great time. Even if it's something you wanted, something that needed to happen, something that should have happened from the get-go. You should have never gotten married, and you tried to go that route, but that didn't quite work out for you based off choices that were provided to you. You had choice A, you had choice B, both were unfavorable. You know, it's like the lesser of two evils, you know what I mean? And that's lifing. Unfortunately, mine's been a little bit unique. It's been a little peculiar. Those entangled in it, no. But we'll leave that for a rainy day. That said, when I went through my divorce, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. I had to reinvent myself. My entire life became consumed by my marriage, obviously, and everybody entangled in my marriage, between my ex-husband's family, all of his friends, my colleagues at work. It was just, it's just a hot mess express with a lot of very interesting people. And the whole time I just felt so suffocated. I felt so suffocated, you know, but you do what you have to do, A, for your kid, and B, you do what you have to do to somewhat make a living, have a roof over your head, you know, and so you just kind of bite the bullet in some ways. That said, when I went through my divorce, golly, I've always had such a unique heart, and I got screwed on that whole thing. I really did. I take ownership in that. I take it on the chin. But I walked away with absolutely nothing. And I had to reinvent myself. I sure did. And golly, it sucked too, because the people that were in my life at the time knew that I was just really struggling. Really, my ears itching. Knew that I was struggling and just throwing fuel on the fire, you know, and that's really hard to go through when you are struggling and you have people in your life that like to throw fuel on your fire. It's one of those things, but it adds hair to your chest, that it does. And so when I went through my divorce and had to completely reinvent myself, in reference to friends, even in my job, the comments that were made to me when I went through my divorce were not cool. Now looking back at it, I'm like, why would you even say that? You know, between one of the owners of the company and like her saying that like, your divorce helped my daughter and her husband's relationship, you know, move in a better direction. Gee, thanks. I'm glad I could be that for them. I'm over here on the bottom of the barrel, but hey, I'm glad that I could be that for them. I mean, these are some of the conversations that I have with these people. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't say that to people. I don't know. I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't, but, you know, teach to their own. That said, I had to reinvent myself through that, but I wasn't quite where I wanted to be. Not to mention, I became very prominently invested in the church. I was a member of the church. I got baptized. I went through the membership program. I was very, very much a part of it. And then after my divorce, that was really interesting, between the church and everybody at church and just how I was treated. And so I had to pull back from that. And so I made it through that little reinventing. Okay. And then it's still, everything in my life was just not moving. It just wasn't moving in the direction. I was dying inside. And then I resigned from my company in 2023. And that has really been a big reinventing for myself, to say the least, because I worked for that company for about roughly eight and a half years. And when I resigned, oh gosh, anything and everything made zero sense. How I was treated, how I was talked to. Of course, all the evidence, my text messages have disappeared off my phone, emails have been wiped, all this stuff. And that's all well and good. It is what it is. They can hide their colors. That's totally fine with me at this point. But I had to reinvent myself. That career field became my identity. That company became my identity. I was consumed by it. I no longer knew who Amanda was. I was Amanda at so-and-so. I was Amanda doing so-and-so. I was Amanda in my email address. That's what I was. That's what I became. And so it's been a very difficult walk reinventing myself, but I give grace to God all day, every day, because compared to who I am now and how happy I am now with the person that I am now compared to the person I was before is night and day. Night and day. I'll walk through everything tenfold to get to this person that I am today. And so that's just kind of a mindset that you have to carry in certain avenues of your life when you find yourself having to reinvent yourself and you go through huge changes in your life, whether that's a career change, whether that's going through a divorce, whether that's going through a breakup, whether that's going through turmoil in your family, whether that's going through, breakups within your friendships, within your friend groups, there's a conglomeration of things that can play a part when you have to reinvent yourself. But you have to figure out what you stand on. You have to figure out what your morals and values are and what your ethics are. You have to figure out what you align with. If you find yourself in positionings in your life, whether you're married to somebody, whether you're in a relationship for somebody, whether you work for somebody, whatever, if you find yourself in these positions aligned with people that don't align with you, they will suck you dry when it comes to your energy, when it comes to your intentions, when it comes to your thoughts, when it comes to the way you look, when it comes to the way you feel, when it comes to your emotions, when it comes to the words that come out of your mouth, it just will. As well as I say this, I know people feel this way. I know they do. Because it's a part of this world. It's how it's been constructed. And you can buy into the program. You can buy into the desire to fit in, and you can buy into whatever. You totally have that free will. You do, but recognize what it comes at. It comes with a cost. It comes with a cost. And a lot of times it comes with the cost of losing your soul, losing your heart in different ways. It becomes bitter. It becomes angry. It becomes jealous, envious, competitive, insecure. It does. It just does. It does for us all. It does for us all. And I'm not saying this as if it does. I mean, believe me, I've been here. Everything I talk about, I've been through. Times 10. Times 10. Let's see here. The why typically has the truth somewhere in it. Yeah, the why does. That's why I think it's so crazy that the judge said that. But I mean, nothing surprises me at this point. Nothing surprises me. I'm just like, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's clear as day it's a cover-up. It's clear as day there's a huge underground operation to it. It's clear as day that there's no facet of this world, whether it's in the judicial, the financial system, the political arena, foreign involvement. I mean, all these different things have an alignment in it. It just does. And that's the why. It's people in power willing to do whatever it takes to stay in power. And it's also people in power that have probably done things that they are very ashamed of. They have probably affiliated with things that they're very ashamed of. They have probably gave a green light to very shameful things. They have probably turned a blind eye to a lot of very shameful things, okay? And because we're seeing this on the full front, this is where you have all these interwoven pieces, where this dot connects to this dot, this string connects to this string, this why connects to this truth, this what connects to the action, the synchronicity, the pattern, the distraction. And then they all connect. And I hope this video is making sense, but that's kind of how my world's been. And so that's how I kind of am able to like piece together puzzles and be like, oh, okay, this makes sense. All right, cool. Let's keep it moving. What else? And it's one of those things because I know I have the protection of God. I have nothing to hide and I can't be bought.